Well, fuck up. Too many musics. Can I alt-tab this? Will this stop music? Oh, it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't. There's no sound for it. I thought that I could find like a sound that... Okay, we're just gonna have to listen to two musics. Hang on, is there... I thought I had a keybind set up to mute my BRB music. Alright, we'll just turn it off. Hey bunnies, how you going? Welcome back to Stardew Valley. We've just kind of unlocked smelting. We've done a little bit of mining. We haven't done really any talking to people. I should start doing that more just because at the moment I hate everyone. So maybe some people will grow on me. I guess I don't hate Abigail because she hasn't really said much. She was just playing music that one time. And the like kindergarten teacher almost? I don't really know what she is. Penny, I think her name is. The one who lives in the trailer. Everyone else so far has been vaguely rude to either me or other people. Other than the people who are, I guess, giving me items. Like the fishing guy was not bad or good. He was just giving me a fishing rod. I don't know. But I kind of just want to focus on the crops. I think I was saying last stream that that's kind of the thing. Like, I really like just tending to crops. I like farming games. You know, I love playing like Farmville and stuff back in the day. I kind of just want to tend to my crops, but I know there's so much more to the game that I should do instead of that. I know I can check for like weather and like luck and stuff, but I feel like that's not important if I'm just like doing stuff. Okay, so we were already at, we read this, I think, when we started last. I'd like to apologize for joking about your grandma's old cottage. I could expand your house, Robin. Yeah, so we read that at the end of the last stream, I think. Oh, did I? I feel like these weren't pickable last stream though. Do I still need to water? I'm assuming I still need to water those bean plants. I don't have any seeds to plant. And I don't know, kind of... I'm again, not sure about the seasons in this game. And I don't know... I'm not good at... I don't want to plan ahead because I am lazy and because I just want to chill with it. Egg Festival. There is an Egg Festival tomorrow. I don't know. I'm assuming I should have chickens by now and I don't. Is the thing regarding that? Can I can sell this to... Can I sell all my beans and stuff to Old Mate? I forgot 9 a.m. I guess let's talk to some people. Footy Man. I don't like Footy Man. Hey, what's up, farmer guy? Nothing. That was... You didn't say anything to me. You were... Don't you have work to do? No. See what I mean about everyone being just mean people? Can we just take those chickens? They're not chickens, they're birds. They look like chickens. Oop. Get wrecked front door. Alright. Does this... I sell this? What do I... I'm not sure if that's a real thing. No. I don't think it's a real thing. Day 12 of spring. So I'm assuming I can probably do some cauliflower still. Should I get some? Oh no, they cost like super money, so we can't get trees yet. I guess because they're like, it's free money, whereas these are not, like, you gotta pay to get more money. Like, you gotta do work and stuff. Let's get cauliflowers again. We can afford 2 cauliflowers right now. Is there any way for me to get money fast? I'm guessing no. I'm guessing I have to wait for the next day. Maybe. I should have kept some of those. Whoops. Okay, I guess we'll plant these 2 cauliflowers then. And we've got some fertilizer. Oh, do we have to fertilize these again? No. Alright, good to know. Pet the kitty. Oh, I can water that, can't I? Yeah. Get hydrated, Jeff. I guess let's try and... I can't remember how much geodes cost to open, but I guess let's try and open some geodes. I want to upgrade to like copper tools, but I also don't have them. Like, I feel like I shouldn't upgrade to copper tools. I should try and save up for a more permanent income of some kind. You know what I mean? But also I need to get that hardwood. Oops. Haley's ignoring me. Okay, yep. Food at Jojo Mart might not be the healthiest for my family, but with such low prices, you'd be crazy to shop anywhere else. Yeah, I'm not sure if I like these 2. I don't really like this guy either. The mayor, I think. Things are going well on Bunny Farm. I'd hate to see it all dried up. But I think he's just a dude. So these 2 are like family? Is that what I'm... I think I've been born rich. Is because like she came out of the trailer just then, right? And wasn't Penny in the trailer earlier? So they're related? Or like married? I don't know. Get watered. $25. Okay, I can do 2. Sick. Is that a note that I can... Oh my god, stop watering things. This was happening last time. Metalworking blueprints, okay. Unimportant to me. Sick. What do I want to do? The crops are like the smallest part of the day. I don't have money to buy more crops at the moment, so I guess... Should we look around for more... What are we looking for? A wild horseradish. And we're also looking for hardwood, but I'm assuming I need to upgrade to copper and then break down those trees that I can't currently break down, and that'll give me something. Nothing. I don't know if there's like a special spot that the horseradish grows, or if I just have to... Oh! This poor guy. Can I like give him something? And a daffodil? It's a good find. I'm always happy when eating wild food, thank you. Alright, nice, he likes it. Okay, let's go back to the community center and finish this off. I don't know what the community center's for yet, so this will teach me something, I guess. So I've got two quests. One is to raise animals, which I don't have the money for, and one is to dive deeper in the mines, which I do. Who are you again? Maru. Oh yeah, you're Abigail's mom? Hey, sorry if I seem cranky, I'm a little sore from work yesterday. Fair enough. I did a lot of wood chopping. So, I'm pretty sure that's what happened last time I was, like, my last day. I don't need to go here. Do I? Oh, I do need to go here. Never mind. Bundle complete. And reward is bridge repair. And spring seeds. Wild spring seeds. Fall, okay, so we don't have fall yet. There's the summer, fall, winter, which we don't have any of those. Exotic foraging. And the construction bundle. Oh, do I need to just do one to unlock the next section? Cool. No, I need to do one and it'll unlock all the no, no, it's a cutscene. No, there's 3 sections that just, okay. Okay. There's a little bit too much going on now. There's too many things, there was already too many things to think about. Okay, I need to buy another parsnip. We've got cauliflower and beans growing and another potato. I can probably grab a potato from the thing. So I'll do that. I don't know if these spring seeds... Oh, actually, I can check the... balloon? Was that sign always there that said balloon? I don't think she wants a rock. I feel like I need more than 2 mouse buttons for interacting. I don't like that I can't open hand talk. I don't like that I can't open hand is, I guess. Is there like a setting to change that so I can open hand? What does that mean? Item stowing. Okay, we've got beans and cauliflower growing. I reckon we'll plant these wild seeds. I don't really know what's gonna be here. Actually, I should probably just like plant all of them, huh? Because spring's halfway done, right? we'll just make it relatively even. Okay, and we can buy 5 potatoes for tomorrow. And then we should have everything, I think. I'm not sure what these wild seeds turn into, like if they're just random spring seeds or what. But I'm assuming they're random spring seeds. Which should mean that I get everything, but we'll buy more cauliflower and potato tomorrow to make up for it. I feel like because time is real in this game, I'm not getting anything done because I'm not sure what I'm doing, and so I'm like stuck, like wandering between 2 areas trying to figure out like what I should be doing next. I think the only reason I got anything done today was because I found that horseradish and went, oh yeah. You gotta face it. Interesting. I guess while there's still some time left, we'll just clear up this area a bit more. Oh. Okay. We don't have enough copper. You can probably sell that quartz, but I'm not sure. And pull out these potatoes. Oops. Okay, now you have a potato. I reckon I have time to give that potato. Well, is it worth giving? No, I think we should just do it all in one go. Not all in one go, but like, if we're going there, we'll take it with us. I might just go to sleep rather than eating, because it's already almost nighttime. And then we'll get paid, we'll get those, we'll go to the community center first, then we'll get those seeds. I think that's my... Oh, what the hell? Watering can, hoe proficiency, I can make a stone fence, I can make mayonnaise machine, and I can make a sprinkler. I would like a sprinkler. Is that just like, oh, beans are... That was really good, right? I think that's our biggest haul, although we haven't harvested cauliflower yet. All right. So first things first. Sprinkler. I need a copper bar and an iron bar. I haven't seen iron yet, so. There goes that plan. Mayo Maker. I need an earth crystal. Okay, so I can't do any of this, is what it's telling me. We will spend 2 hours watering all of these plants. Now it said beans will keep making things. Is that over spring? If I just water them? Or are the beans basically just tiny trees? As far as game mechanics are concerned. It must be just through spring. So you want to buy beans first, so that you get the highest yield out of them? Is my bet. You also can't walk through them, which means you've got to do them in rows instead of like a big plot of land like this. All right, more water. Let's put that wood away. And we'll take that potato to the community center. And then, oh. I've got to wait for the festival to be set up before I can do anything? I don't even know anything about this egg festival other than that there's eggs. So I'm guessing it gets set up at 9? Yes. Is this gonna waste a whole day? Because if so, I'd like to skip the egg festival. I mean, I should see it. Okay, there's a festival. Ooh, a lawn flamingo. Strawberry seeds. I kind of want to buy some of you. Is that a bad idea? Yeah, probably. Hens have been working overtime to prepare for this festival. They deserve the best tonight. Bowls full of sweet yellow corn. No one really talks to me. I just came for the deviled eggs. I mean, sounds like the dream, Linus. Linus? I keep forgetting his name. Is it Linus? Haha, I put something nice into the punch. Pam, don't do that. Clint's hungry. Fair enough. I hope everyone's enjoying the food. I've been cooking for days to get everything ready. Fried eggs, boiled eggs, poached eggs, deviled eggs, scrambled eggs, chocolate eggs, you name it. If there were just plates of only eggs, and that's all you could eat that day, I feel like I'd be pretty pissed off. Shh, that's just between me and you, kid. Oh, there's more. There was more to that conversation. Okay. There are children at this event, Pam. Spring is a busy time of year, so it's nice to have a day off to catch up with friends. I had things to do today. Abby's always loved the egg hunt ever since she was a tiny girl. Sick. Ooh, monster hunter guys here. Even with my bad leg, I never miss a town festival. Really? Can I? I'm assuming closed because of the town festival. Sometimes I hide an egg too well, no one finds it. I'm assuming Marlon and Willie are brothers. That's my only assumption. Well, until summer rolls around and the hot air starts to bring out the rotten smell. You do you, Willie. Forget everyone's name. Demetrius. Egg. What a strange thing to eat. Like, I guess. Not yet. I haven't talked to everyone. I also don't know what's going on. Welcome to the Egg Festival. Compliments of my wonderful brood of hens. Wait, so is Shane a work hand, or are they together? These are questions I need answers to. Polly. Jody. Vincent loves this festival. It's a joy to see him happy. Nice. Which one's Vincent? Oh, he's the kid, right? I've been up since dawn coloring eggs. It's always my favorite part of the season. That's cool. Cool and fun. This fruit punch is unusually good. That's the alcohol. That's all of the punch. I guess vodka. But Pam doesn't strike me as a vodka person. But I can't imagine people wouldn't notice, like, a whiskey in their fruit punch or something. I've talked to you once. Taking breaks from work can make you more productive in the long run. He must be a writer, right? Because he sits at the beach. I haven't seen him do anything. I always look forward to these gatherings. It makes the valley feel like a real community. This valley doesn't feel like a real... Everyone's like right next to each other. I haven't seen a closer town in my life. The children have been looking forward to this festival for weeks. Really? You've been looking forward to egg? When does the egg hunt start? I'm so excited. I'm gonna beat these kids at egg hunt. I hope I can find some eggs before Vincent takes them all. You can't, because I'll get them all. You're my favorite. What's everyone so happy about, Eggs. Why eggs? I agree, man. Why eggs? This festival's been a tradition for as long as I can remember. Tradition connects us with both the past and the future. It's comforting. Sure. You're gonna ask me when the thing's ready. Talk to you. I try to eat at least 3 eggs every day. Okay, Gaston. This festival is alright, but what I'm really looking forward to is the flower dance. Is that like another festival? We used to do a rotten egg toss. Mayor Lewis put an end to that pretty quick. That'd be sick. Is that like you gotta catch it and hope it doesn't blow up and you be rotten? That sounds insanely good. Searching for eggs is like going on a treasure hunt. Sick. Those allergies. I feel like you weren't talking like that earlier in the spring. I feel like for consistency, he should be talking like that at all times, right? During spring. Am I missing anyone? Is there anyone not here, specifically? For the purpose of me to find and talk to before the thing starts? I'm guessing not. And I'm assuming I can't... I'm glad that there's no timer. We can just enjoy the festival. That makes my stress a lot lower. Okay, everything's blocked off. It doesn't look like there's anyone to talk to that I haven't already talked to. I don't have any more money to buy from you. I think... Wait, no, sorry. You're not the guy. Have I talked to you? Eggs definitely have a place in the well-balanced diet. Yeah, you're right, old mate. Harvey? Oops, I should take off my doctor's hat for the time being. You don't have a hat on, my guy. Glasses? Doctor's glasses for sure. Do you think everyone's ready for this? I can't yet. Yes, let's start. I've got to be I gotta hunt, right? I gotta find things fast. Is there time? Sebastian's ready to go. Look at him breathing. Look at that guy breathing. I wish I had the ability to just zoom in on that guy. But I think it would break my entire stream if I tried that. It's time for the highlight of today's festivities, the annual spring egg hunt. Sick. You're the only ones who are excited? That doesn't sound right. Sebastian's literally breathing heavy right now. Calm down now, kiddos. You're going to need all your energy if you hope to find the most eggs and take home the exclusive prize. Also, it sucks that you're doing an egg hunt. There's only 2 kids in the entire valley. It sounds pretty sad. You'd need the teenagers to be participating, and it looks like they are. You're gonna need all your energy if you hope to find the most eggs and take on the exclusive prize, which is... Wait, are you ready? Now, is everyone ready? You didn't tell. I was hoping you would tell me what the prize is. Let the egg hunt begin. Oh snit! Where do I what do I search for? Eggs. I see eggs. That's an egg. That's an egg. That's an egg. I see 2 eggs here. Get that. I can't remember your name, so I don't want to talk shit to you. I don't know your name yet. Get out of here, Vincent. This is not your game. Yeah. That's all. Is that an egg or a flower? It's a flower. Truck egg. What? How do you get in there? Is that a thing? Magic. Egg. I got 10. Surely that's enough. Wow, look at all these eggs. If only I could get you kids to pick up litter sufficiently. We'd have the cleanest town this side of the Gem Sea. Ha ha ha. And now the winner of this year's egg hunt. Our weird farmer? Epic. Here's your prize. Enjoy. Straw hat. Okay. Well, that's it for this year's Egg Festival. Thanks for coming, everyone. Cool. Thanks, Lewis, for putting on such an amazing event. Next time. Oh, it's fully nighttime. I mean, I guess I should do some yard work. I can't cut those, can I? Well, that was fun. I guess I don't have a hat on. I should just put on the straw hat. It's a pretty, Oh, I've got the right hands in the wrong spot. I don't know what button I clicked to turn on that, though. Is it F? Huh. Alright, I guess I'll plant my strawberry seeds, too, before the night's fully over. That's gonna be fun. That's alright. Let's put the grass and the wood and the stuff away. Let's grab our fertilizer. Did I water the cat bowl? My first assumption is no. I think I was planning on it. No, I didn't. This cat has been thirsty all day. Alright. Oops, I watered the chest again. Okay. I think I'm done with the day. Cat. Let's burn down the house. All right. Hats on. It's time to water plants. Did I earn money? Do I have more money than I had? I have a feeling I shouldn't buy more cauliflowers. I think this might be the last of the spring season. What I should do though is get save up and get animals for winter, I'm guessing? I don't actually know. something that I can harvest during winter to still get money, though. Because I'm assuming there's not many crops in winter for obvious reasons. Oh, we've got a thing. That's a potato. Are you telling me that I didn't need to keep that potato when I could have sold it? I didn't realize there was just extra potatoes lying around. It must have been a mixed seed situation. Alright. So these potatoes need to go. Alright. I kinda wanna... What else have I got to do? I don't think there's anything I've got to do. I might put my stuff away and go to the mine. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, now we go to the mine. Sorry, we go to the community center, then we go to the mine. No, sorry, we buy cauliflower, we go to the community center, then we go to the mine. That's the order we're doing things in. I'm not changing it anymore. What do you got for me? It's Haley's birthday. I do not care about Haley. I'm not going to give you anything for your birthday. Unless you really want a daffodil. I don't want to look for a... Haley, where do you live? There. Haley, do you want a daffodil? No. Alright, you get nothing. I'm glad we've learned that. Ooh. I don't... Yeah? I should keep crops now or something. Hey, Pierre, I need to buy... like some parsnips? Like we'll buy 4 parsnips and like... Oh, you can sell these straight to him. Okay, good to know. I think let's get potato because I have a chance, it has a chance of yielding extra. I didn't even notice there were other seeds below this, like for flowers. Like I don't really know what kale and jazz is for. Okay. I should talk to you. Never mind, you're gone. You're gone. You disappeared. All right, let's put the potato in here. The animals. Fall. Artisan bundle. Summer, and I'm guessing, oh, quality. Okay, interesting. And I never checked this one, so I guess we'll see what this is. River fishing. Fish, 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 fish. Okay. Glittering boulder removed. Glittering boulder where? Do I know of a glittering boulder? Gives me a greenhouse? Oh, I think I've seen that. Just like an extra room to... Okay, so this repairs everything. it looks like. So it gets like an extra room in your farm that I guess you can grow any crops, is what I feel like happens. I don't know. There was a bridge, hold on, there was a bridge repair? Is that the bridge? What bridge was repaired? That wasn't the bridge that was repaired, was it? No. Is that the bridge that was repaired? No, because that bridge needed like money, like you needed to pay and have wood in it to repair it, right? I'm gonna go down there before I mine, even though the day's gone already. This is running, right? Because left shift slows me down. But I think I have 300 pieces of wood. Okay. I needed a hoe for that, don't I? Let's see how much wood we have sitting around. I'm confused about the bridge repair situation though. Feeling pretty good about the egg hunt, huh? Well, next year you won't be so lucky. You're gonna be better than me next time. 20 years of mayor. That seems... I feel like maybe you should let someone else have a go. Just a really healthy town, Harvey. Perhaps you should work at looking to a... Maybe do something like computers so you can just sit at your desk, do the computer work. I think that'd work well. All right. I guess I'll plant these while I'm here. Is potato the way to go because of like the luck situation? Because I was pretty sure that someone said you can like the min-max kind of situation is that you plant something, you buy just a lot of one thing right at the start. You like sell everything and just buy a bunch of seeds so that you can get a lot of money quickly. And for some reason I thought it was potatoes, but then I was like, no, it has to be cauliflower because like it takes so much longer to grow, right? Did I mess up fertilizing? Do I need to fertilize before I water? That's what I would say you would do. I forget how do you use fiber? And no, you just use sap, okay. There we go. Do you need sap for anything else? Who knows? Okay. It's already so late. We will sell the rest of these potatoes. Now that that's done. Yeah. I gotta remember to keep a cauliflower, a bean, and a parsnip. Was there something else I was gonna do over there? No, surely not. Hopefully... I did want to check for that bridge. I was going to check for the wood. That's what I was doing there. Because I haven't used wood for anything. So it probably wouldn't hurt to just spend it all to increase the area that we can explore. I need those mushrooms, don't I? Why is everyone out and about? What's going on? My husband almost set the house on fire last night with his science experiment. One of his beakers exploded and sent a fireball into the rafters. Thank you, I used fire-resistant lacquer when I built this place. It's kind of a little fun. Yeah, when you're on a farm, you kind of just work all the time. But it's like slow work. So you're not really working, but you're also not stopping working. Oh, that's the glitter boulder. Okay. Or is that? No. It must be that. Okay. Let's get some copper, because we need those copper. That's not copper. That could be copper. Maybe it's definitely copper. I don't know if I need a sword for this or an axe. It makes a wood noise, so I'm assuming... Oh, instant death. Oh, I forgot about you. A cherry bomb. Nice. Don't need it. I wanted you to drop it. Can you drop it for me? Oh, I need to... Oh no! There's two? There is two. Well, that's that earth crystal that I needed for the mayo. Mayo crystals. Okay. Let's eat both of you, I think will save me. Nice. And then I can pick up that crystal. What is this? Nice. Okay, that works a lot better than the axe. It's not what I wanted. Ah. What's with the music? The music starting made me think I was about to enter like an Undertale cutscene or something. I got very worried it was like a boss fight, and then I remembered I'm playing Stardew Valley. Oh, is this... Never mind, I was right, it was a boss fight. Ooh, what's a coal? Is that like... I thought I was unlocking... like the cart, but I guess I was... not. Can I eat that? I can't eat that? Oh. Oh. I mean, I'll throw it because nostrils appear. I didn't realize there was a community center situation for it though. There's totally those worms somewhere. There they are. Ooh, I haven't unlocked. I haven't touched those before. What is that? Okay, I have run out of every space. I need to get that chest, but I'm out of so many. I don't have any monies. Is that what I'm finding? A yam, just like a whole yam. All right. think I'll just eat the dandelions. Now I got 2 earth crystals, which means I should be able to make 2 mayo boxes. I'm not sure if I need them. I probably do need them for something else. Do these do anything for me? No. They're just for gifting, but you can also eat them. Should I make bug meat? I need 10 bug steaks to make bug meat. Okay. I don't really need grass. I'll eat it. I'm always facing the wrong way. I guess I just gotta start mining. Oh, nice. Just standard wood. All right. I'm gonna go around this way. Don't want to waste too much energy. How dare you slow me? We need all the copper we can get so that we can eventually get to copper tools. Although I think we still need money to make copper tools, which, again, that's our biggest issue. Maybe I should sell some copper bars, because I'll have heaps of copper bars. I mean, all that stuff I got. He's gone. Ooh, what are you? We can eat that cave carrot. I do need it for the community center, but I'm sure I'll find another one. Retaining soil. Staying watered overnight. Mixed into till soil. Okay. Mixed seed. I don't really need mixed seeds at the moment, so we'll leave that. I need that bag. I need that money to get that bag. This is a better slime, right? Yeah. Like, I might try and sell them? 15, oh yeah, hell yeah, all right. That's perfect. Can I use that now? Dang it. What makes it out of order? Huh? I'm not gonna make it home, am I? Not if I go down there. We can do it, guys, we can do it. I'm stuck. Oh, it's 2, that's why I'm stuck. Do I lose anything for falling asleep out there? Oh, I wake up exhausted. Right? Is that what I'm saying? Epic, you're lucky I found you last night. You were unconscious and someone was searching your pockets. I have no idea how much money they took. They ran away as soon as they approached. Okay, so they take money. Interesting. I don't know. Oop. I'll leave that there. That there. How much wood did I need? It was 500? I might try and get 500 wood to repair that. Whoops. And just sell potatoes. I need a parsnip. I'll put the daffodils away because I can't eat them. Like, they don't do anything for me if I eat them. put the cherry bomb away also, because they don't do anything for me if I eat them. Enough said. I guess I should water these guys, huh? Nice. Okay, I need to give beans to someone, don't I? Okay, that's not done. Alright. I thought it looked a bit sad for a finished cauliflower. So I need to give a bean to someone, Robin maybe, for money, and then I need to put a bean in the community chest. And then all we're missing is a cauliflower? Done a potato. I'm not sure. These mixed vegetables are definitely doing something. Is that beans, maybe? Not sure. I haven't seen whatever these brown things are, so I'm not sure what I could be growing, really. It could be anything. We'll see. Oh, come on. Relax yourself, buddy. Go in there. Put you there for now. Let's grab you. And what do I need? Pinecone, maple, and acorn? I don't know if, like, the field bar is the way to go. It's probably the only way to go at the moment, though, for me. Because the bug snack is definitely not anywhere close to this, as far as how much it can give me. That actually works. Sick. So I guess we'll look around for... Are they only pine cones? Huh. Oh, they look different. Eh. Alright, I have enough to get by, maybe. I should probably check that letter. Hello dear, I know you're just getting started as a gardener, so I want to give you a little tip. Most crops only grow in one season. When summer arrives, your spring crops will all die out, so plan ahead. Yes, I figured that. Okay, so Carolyn is looking for a farm fresh green bean. Carolyn exists where? Pierre's store, which closes at 2, so I need to get there real quick. I've completely forgotten who Carolyn actually is, though. That's Marnie. Jeff will be shy at first, takes a while for an animal to get comfortable in a new setting. That's fair. He's leaving it on me, so okay, taking a break from work. Not really, this is work. Carolyn, I need to talk. Spending time in your room is fine. I'm not gonna give you a full guy, just like a normal guy. Sick. Free monies. I may as well eat this. Is there a calendar somewhere? I haven't patted him today or watered his thing. Oh, I wanted to escape my old life is kind of what the character did. That's pretty much the reason I came here too. I wanted to connect with nature more. Sick. Now that that's over. Okay, I want to sell the beans. Should I keep some... I mean, I should keep the vegetables. I should go to the community center while I'm out, is what I should do. Oh, I was also going to go to the... check out the calendar on PS Shop so I know kind of where I'm at. That's just fish. That's the rest of the crop bundles. There we go, I figured that would be a thing. So we got a yam. You can actually get stuff from the mines for crop things in not the right seasons, which is great. Can speedrun those community things because they do, I think, seem to unlock. Again, I'm not really sure what bridge it's unlocked though. Was that bridge broken? Did it unlock that bridge? I don't know. Okay. Calendar, so I can see if I should buy some more things. It still says spring. I'm assuming the flower dance has to be in spring, so I think we can buy a bunch of crops if we wanted to. It's 2,000 to upgrade. We need to buy so many more crops. I don't think kale... It's like super, like, I don't need it for my community center. I might need it for like shopping. For like those little quests. I'm hoping when all my cauliflowers are done, I'll make bank. And we can start delving into animal stuff. I should collect a lot of wood and stone for the purpose of animal stuff as soon as I can. So that's like already fertilized, isn't it? Like that's continued to be fertilized. I may as well try and plant this as soon as I can. That's not a planting tool. I didn't even finish watering the plants today. What am I doing? I didn't even water my cat. Need to fertilize that. I think I just sell these, right? For the purposes of money. Water the cat. Pet the cat. We still need to smelt some more copper. Wood, stone, earth crystal. I can make a mayonnaise machine, but I don't have eggs. There's no reason for me to make a mayonnaise machine. Sick. Alright, well, while that's cooking, let's chop some more trees down. Surely that's like... Oh no, there's a lot less wood comes out of trees than I thought they would. I've just cut down a lot of trees. That's fine. This way. How do I look at my sick hat? I don't know if it really suits the character with his weird little mullet thing he's got going on, but it'll do for now. Surely that's enough. We've cleared a lot of area for farmland now, though. It's completely unorganized, which is great. It's 500. Alright, let's take that and... I don't know why we need to get this bridge over there. What's... Oh, there is a little spot. It must be for more fishing. I really need to look into what bridge got repaired from the community center also, because I don't know. I have no idea. It said a bridge got repaired. I got no idea which one it was. Should I take that? I'm not sure. And I have room. I guess I should. Oh, 300, not 500. I had so much more wood than I needed to. Sick. That's a terrible looking bridge. Also, where are we? What's that? What? What was that noise? I've heard that noise before. Can I fish those? I must be able to fish those. Okay. I've unlocked a new fishing spot. Something I haven't really done yet. But now we've got more of it, so I should get into it. There's just so much to do. I'm very overwhelmed. Because it's like, I like fishing. I don't really like the fishing mechanic in this game, but I like the fishing as a concept in a lot of games. So I've been like, I really want to get see what fish I can get, but... Ooh, cutscenes. Is that because I unlocked the bridge? I don't like how squelchy that bin is. Sounds like those raccoons are back again. Filthy varmints. No, I don't think so. Ah, you turned up at the right moment, son. Could you do an old man a favor? Could you go around the corner and scare off those raccoons for me? They've been causing a mess. Thanks. Make sure you give them a good scare so they never come back. Alright, old man. You're not a raccoon, you're a human. It was me. I'm sorry. It's not my bin. Find a lot of hot, fresh food in these cans. Stuff that'll go to waste if I don't take it. Do you think there's something wrong with what I'm doing? Not everyone's cut out for this world, Epic. You don't know what it's like to be me. I'm not harming anyone, I just want to live life in my own way. Is that so wrong? Like, it's a shame for food to go to waste, I guess? It's also disgusting. But it's not wrong? It is technically also illegal. But stupidly so. And that just seems rude. So I'll just go, no, it's a shame for food to go to waste. Thanks, Epic. I know you are an open-minded person. I feel good about what I'm doing. I'm not harming anyone. You can go on home. I promise I won't rummage in George's can anymore. You can tell him you scared off the raccoons for good. Now it's time to go to the Stardrop Saloon bin, where I can get Pam's vodka. Wait. I know what you're doing, Linus. If you need food, just ask. I don't want anyone in Pelican Town to go hungry. Yeah, I got a basket of zucchini fritters for you. Just make sure you dip them in my spicy marinara. Go on, take it. Nah, I like bin food. That's my thing, Gus. Bin food. Alright, I don't know. I'm not sure if that was related to the bridge being... Rabbit? The bridge being opened, or if it was just because I gave him items and it was just the time for that to happen because of that. Yeah. I'll sell these 2 clams, because they can't food me, right? No. I can probably make food out of them, but they aren't food for now. I feel like it was like $200 and copper and some like wooden stuff to get an upgraded tool. But I'm not sure. Ooh, I am like out of energy, huh? Like some extra coal though, that's nice. I can't, no more, yeah, I need 1 more copper ore. So we can go mining again. 10 copper, sure that's enough. We'll stop by... Can I not pet you? Have I fed you? Did I forget to put more water in the thing? No, I didn't. I'm a good pet owner. Oh, are you doing that because you're... I don't know if he's just sleeping there because he's sleeping there, or if he's sleeping there because I had the fire on, and so he didn't need my warmth. Full energy. Okay, we have an actual day to do things. Dear neighbor, I hope you're feeling settled in your new home. I'm writing to let you know that Pierre's store is now selling fertilizers. I don't think I want to pay for fertilizers. It's very cheap to make. Did I buy 1 cauliflower originally? Is that what I'm seeing here? Is there one done cauliflower? There was one done cauliflower. And I can't sell this one done cauliflower. Because I need to take it to the community center. But I think it's the last thing for that community center area. I don't know why my brain is saying like senator. I'm having to actively stop myself from saying community senator. I don't know, it's late, all right? It's late. Again, no idea what these brown crops are. I don't think I've planted them. Maybe they're yams? I don't know. But yams are full fetchy, so they wouldn't grow, right? I need that sprinkler, but I haven't found iron yet. I'm assuming I need to get to like 20 or 50 or something in the mine. I have enough money to get those geodes unlocked. So I will water that. I'll go find my sleepy cat. Look at that guy. And then geodes. I need to grab the geodes. I'll get the geodes, go to the community center, and then do some mining to get like more levels. We'll take that. Take the geodes. Ooh. Is that? Oh, there we go. Salmon berry. Is that a thing? No, but I can do the cauliflower one, which gives me a greenhouse. Is that accurate? I need more stone. I see. I need stone. Full stop. All right, we'll go to the construction thing and bring the stone as well. I thought I already brought that there. It's... Can I not do like a half grab? This is clearly not Minecraft. Alright. So we got geodes. We'll try and crack as many geodes. I'm pretty sure I can crack all of the geodes. Hopefully we get some stuff that stacks that's good. Otherwise we won't have the room to do that. Maybe, yeah, you know, maybe I should go to the community center first so I don't have to deal with having too many items. Because I can't do it from here, right? No. Gotta be there. And it was this guy. And I've got a greenhouse now. Yes? Oh no, the greenhouse is the final thing. Cool. Increases growth rate by 10%. That's pretty sick. Oh, I unlocked a new thing. This sucks. I'm unlocking way too much stuff. Like, to do. I already have too many things to do. Could you stop? Just need the hardwood, which I'm assuming I can do with a copper axe. Now, what is this? Ooh, a copper, iron, and gold. Slime, solar, void, and batwing. Quartz, earth. Okay, we've got half of those before. Can't be too hard, surely. Alright. Well, we were one item lower. I don't need the salmon berry, so I'm just gonna use it. I guess I'll go down to get to the Geo Crusher. Ooh. Wait, didn't I already have a Jorvish helm? Ooh. 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 Okay. Gunther. Now, do I have to sell? Do I like sell? Oh, I can. Okay, I'll donate an Earth Crystal as well. I've already got 3, so I don't mind. Ooh. Alright, let's plant them. Can I sell that? I must be able to just sell that then. Because you've already got one in there. Right? We must. So free cauliflower seeds. I was going to buy some more seeds, but I might just plant these seeds. Ooh. It's not like a terrible amount. Like, it's not a great amount of energy, I'll be honest. But the fact that they all grew means that I've got a lot of berries to pick. I don't really want to go to Pierre's. Alright, let's just speed grow this. These 9 cauliflowers. And then if there's any time left, we'll go to the mines. We'll try and sell this artifact as well. Okay, you can sell everything. Three, 4, 5. We'll just do 10 like this. Perfect. I'm pretty sure I fed the cat. Did I feed the cat? I watered the cat. Does the cat get its own food? It seems irresponsible as a pet owner. Alright, I guess let's try and do some amount of adventuring in the mines. Because again, we need a lot more copper, I think. And hopefully we could find some iron, I guess. I can't believe Minecraft stole copper from Stardew Valley. I need that salmon berry. I also need to talk to Abigail. No, I need to give her a salmon berry? Eat it? Oh, are you angry with me because I gave you a salmon berry? I didn't know you didn't know how to eat berries. That's my bad. That's my bad. I can't get up there. I still have no idea what bridge got made. No idea. It wastes so much energy when I accidentally do that. I need to stop equipping. Okay, that noise is just a refresh on my sword. I see. Another cherry bomb. Slugs? Silkworms? I guess that's their intended purpose. I don't know the difference between any of these rocks. Oh. I missed that. Nice. I will drop that grass if I find anything more important. Nothing? I'll collect... What is that? All the copper I can? And then we'll go down, we'll just go straight down after that, because I don't need any of the stones. Oh. That's why it's... Wait, do I need... Yes. I need the slime, but I can't like do anything with that anyway right now. A rice shoot. Huh. Need that copper. Got him. Do I want quartz? I definitely don't need stone at the moment. What's happening? I'm leaving. Because that was scary. Why is there a ladder just sitting around? What? I didn't realize there was a second ladder. I didn't know that was possible, in fact. Well, that seems important, doesn't it? Let's chuck the quartz, and we'll also eat that. Because I think it gives me energy. And like a small amount of health, and I don't need the health. So amethyst I need to donate. Oh, let's just keep going. Ooh, a chest. Ooh. 4 to 8 plus 2 speed. 6 to 11 plus 2 speed, so I'll sell that then. Cave fishing situation. We should go back. When does Marlin's shops close? Does it close ever? I think. Oh my god, stop. I'm guessing no? I should probably get a sword. Wait, what's the... Is there a difference between a club? Like, I'm assuming in the animations, like, there's like a speed thing. Silver Saber is better than the femur. Oops. I'm assuming the elf blades are faster. Sorry, the daggers, not the elf blades. Alright. I'm not gonna make it back again, am I? That feels like what's gonna happen. I want to keep the slimes and stuff to get the community center upgraded. But it also means I'll make less money. I shouldn't have gone this way. Why did I go this way? So I'm not sure, kind of... No, I will. Oh, you just use the crops. Just use the crops. I mean to put the carrot and the... Carrot in the community. The... monster fighting stuff in a chest to be used for monster fighting community chests later on, I think is what I'm gonna do with that. We'll see. I need to get that to Gunther tomorrow. I don't think I'll sell anything. Whoops. I feel like the clicking mechanics confuse me. 100G. Interesting. Alright, let's plant this rice seed. Now, can I can't also fertilize that, okay. And I already have a spot for the rice seed. So much watering. And when I do Gunther's thing, I have to actually check how much it costs to upgrade an item. Because I might have enough money to get a better axe and finish off that other quest. And also get rid of these things. Whoops. I feel like these cauliflowers are growing slower than the first one. Have I learned any more crafting recipes or anything? I feel like I haven't leveled up in a while. It's not that hard to water things. I don't know why you get so exhausted. Alright. Do I need anything else? I don't think so. I'll just keep the coal and copper on me because I can pick up more coal and copper later on. Think. Oh, I should have brought the geode for... That's alright. Tomorrow situation, I guess. Okay, you. I need you to know... Oh, I can't even make a copper axe. Okay, and it's 2,000 gold. I have enough copper to do both of those? Yeah, I just can't afford to do it. Interesting. And I can get iron ore and make my own iron without having to go deep into the cave. Ah. Alright, what's this do, boy? I'll organize this one day. I don't really... They're made up, like they're just things. I don't really care about the lore behind these items. Delicate shards from a pink meadow. A resinous substance found near the surface. Purple variety of quartz. Was it worth reading that? I don't think so. Alright. I'm gonna just go mining all day, now that my plants have been watered. I don't know, I don't have anything for the community center right now. Oh no, I have the carrot, but it's in the chest, it's fine. Linus? Oh. Doing this? You trust me now? No. He likes wild food, is what I've learned. Oh, not there. This must be a good fishing spot for like some certain cave fish or something. I don't know if I need torches either. So far I haven't, really. But I'm sure it's gonna get harder and harder to see things. I know I can make torches. Eh. Uh-oh. Am I gonna lose health? I don't know what this means. Are zombies attacking? Bugs. Bugs are attacking. I don't want the bug meat, but I'll leave it. I'm sure I will get more bug meat and also not be dead. Need to kill things. I've been told that I need to. By that thing. By that thing? By the presence in that one place. And also by the old guy in the monster hunting hall. Am I running out of things to smack? Pretty much. No more copper, no more things to smack. I'm sure there's, yeah, 2 of those guys, but I'll leave them. They've survived today. Because of the fact that I do have enough copper to upgrade stuff, I'm wondering if I should start selling the copper. Like, fully smelted? I don't know if that's, like, worth the money. Oh, okay. This will give me some loot. Okay. Like, not really. I don't really need the sap either. Okay, elevator. Nice. And it's only 4:20, we're really powering through. And then there's this stupid room. Ooh, why do I have some new ideas to sleep on? I don't need the wood. I prefer the geodes. Okay. Let's... Let me swap. How come you can do damage to me while you're sitting still? That seems illegal. I'm sure I need this algae. Why is this crab bouncing so much? I'll probably find another ladder somewhere. Because we need to murder. It's like a legal requirement that we now have to rid the world of bug. You know what I mean? Alright, copper. Ooh. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Thank you. Oh my god. I need to figure out a way to put stuff away. Seeds. What is that? Oh, what? I just threw all my stone away for this. Turns out it was just you with an egg. Sucks. I hope Rush Shoots give me some amount of money. I'm just gonna go down this. I didn't see anything cool in here. You know, we can always go back to 25 to re-explore if we think that we can find some cool stuff. Because at the moment I'm getting just a shit ton of copper. Not you. Oh my god. I'm getting tired of these bugs. Ooh. Okay, more of these guys. Nothing. Sick. Wait, what is that? What is that? A cup? Decorative bowl? Oh, I needed the money to buy that bag. The cauliflower was gonna grow, like, tomorrow. Why did right-clicking not work? Alright, one more and we can get to 30. Maybe we'll find iron in the level 30s. Who knows? Was that is that a 10 or is that a 1-0? I can't kill it? Really? And there's 2 of them? Ooh. This guy dies fast. Let's check down here, make sure there's nothing cool. There's definitely some items down here. We'll see what we got before I get to that ladder. I'm not gonna make it back again, aren't I? Let's just get rid of the slime. I think that's more important and probably more expensive if I need to sell it. Alright, let's go get that ladder and take the elevator out. No chest in this one. Still feel like I surely should be able to use it. I just like dragged the minecart. This is out of order, but like what does out of order mean, you know what I mean? We've got 3 more rice sprouts to plant tomorrow. I'll just sell some of that quartz. I don't know what I can use it for. Decorative bowl in our house. Don't think the crab's edible. It might be cookable, but it's not edible at the moment. So I may as well sell that because we've been finding crabs relatively easily. And tomorrow I need to remember the cave carrots. I actually made it there with time to spare. Guess I'll put the decorative bowl here for now. I don't like it though. Every time. Big expression-y. Nice. And minus trait, that must make me super energy. Extra combat. I can make a life elixir. That might be like useful for the later ones. At the moment, I'm not getting hit that much though, and I'm getting food that does some health. All right, so watering can. I don't need a scythe. I don't need an axe. Leave that there. What do we need the quartz for? Sorry. What's the quartz for? Oh, geologist bundle. I forgot about that. So I do need at least 1 quartz, but we have. Oh my god, this is stupid. I just keep using it. I don't understand. All right. So much. We've got too many crops going, and now it takes the entire day to water all of them. Hey Jeff, how you doing? Those cauliflowers need another day to grow. We've been buying them in batches. This is really annoying having to pick them all at weird times. Dang it. Oh, beans are growing again. Let's go. We're gonna get so much money. Okay, 1 more day for these cauliflowers, but I reckon we're gonna get bank when these cauliflowers are grown. Right? And then I can finally get my backpack, and then I just grow the monthly crop that keeps cropping. And then we just spend all our time mining, right? That's what Stardew Valley is about, right? Mining? Maybe some crafting? That's... I mean, I watered it. Let's just sell... Okay, I need 5 of those, so we'll keep that. Okay. No, actually, I want to open that. Thank you. Oh, I didn't need to grab all that copper. Okay. Sook. Alright, we'll sell those beans. We'll put the hoe and the watering can back. That. We may as well take that. I don't want to sell them. I don't know if I should keep them. There might be like a clothing thing later on. Oh, you do copper and coal to make cherry bombs. Interesting. So now that I'm getting a lot of copper and coal and I don't need like a super amount of copper and coal, it might be a good idea to start that up. Okay, I need an iron bar. I haven't seen iron yet. I need quartz and earth crystals, please. Ah. It's 2,000 gold for both the copper pickaxe and the backpacks. I don't know what the point of a copper trash can is. I feel like it was probably down here, the foraging thing. Oops. Exotic foraging. And quartz and earth crystal were in the boiler room? Yes? I'm assuming all those geologists bundle is for mining, right? You'd have to assume. I don't know if it's worth making copper to sell. I'll put copper in... You know what I'll do? I'll put 1 copper, 1 coal. No, it's 5 copper to make 1. I mean, it'll tell me what I need to know, which is how much copper is how much coal is. Because you can actually look up the price of that, can you? Oh yeah, I also need to put one of those in. We'll see what that gives us. Otherwise, we'll just store them, but if it's like a fairly good chunk of money just from smelting copper, I may as well like keep. I may like, you know, use some for cherry bombs, but use the rest for. What are you doing? You seem sus. So we can get pretty lively at night. Sometimes you even put a coin in the jukebox. Wow. I think you've already said that. It's Pam's birthday. Sucks to be Pam. Grab one of those. May as well eat it immediately, huh? I feel like I'm just not getting any money. When the cauliflower comes tomorrow, fingers crossed, we should make bank. I just don't know if that's actually accurate. We'll also make a fair bit of money today from selling like beans and stuff, right? Whoops. Carrot seeds. Three days to go, plant the spring. All right. Well, I mean, why not? Ooh, bats. I needed like 3 bat wings or something. There's no way it was 3 bat wings, because can I make... No. That's a slime, right? It is without torch. It's definitely not a slime, whatever it is. Oh. It's a clay golem. I don't know if I want to use a bomb here, but I will for funsies. Yeah, I've realized that firstly I wasted that bomb. Secondly, I can't see where the ladders are. So that was a bit of a wasted experiment. Squirrel! Get out of here. Oh, I can't use those geodes anymore. Dang it. Oh, is this the bridge that it's talking about, maybe? When it says fixing the bridge? Because, like, I feel like it's the only bridge I've seen that doesn't have the ability to fix it yourself. I say that, I've only seen one bridge that has the ability to fix it yourself, but I've only seen one bridge other than that one. No, they're staring up into the... over the cliff together? That doesn't sound very good. Can I just, like, put half of the bat wings in? How does the community center work? Like, can I just throw it in and store it, or do you reckon I have to put it all in at once? Oh! I only need 2 things. Huh. And this repairs the minecart, which would be very useful to me. I wonder if I should just make the iron and gold bars via buying ore from Clint, and then like load up on slimes or something to get the slime juice. And then it's just those crystals. But surely we can find those. Just gonna haphazardly place these seeds. We'll start doing things normally once the next season strikes, I reckon. And everything can be harvested or deleted, and then we'll start again fresh and do some interesting things with the farm. And I need to pay attention to the sales. I might mine some stone here. I think I have enough wood to probably get stuff, but like if I want to pay for a coop or something, I think I'll need a fair few more stone. So we'll just keep going with that. There, what is there? Come on now. I wonder if the sword is any better than the scythe for clearing stuff. Or other way around, I guess. Like, should I not use the scythe ever again and just use the sword? It seems like it's the same thing. This is a club, by the way. Maybe it uses more energy, but it looks like it's pretty much the same thing. I reckon we're good to just not put the scythe back into our inventory and cut grass with the club. Oh, it's needed to cut this grass. Okay. Makes sense. It is needed. I guess just sell the grass. Yeah, right. Okay. So 5 by 5, so we got 25 on that. I think we just need 1 coal. We can check that. But that's like 35, sorry, 40, and you get 20 G for the copper. 20 extra G is what I'm saying there. So it's not terrible if you've got a surplus of copper. Like, you are making more money than if you just tried to sell the copper. I didn't check the coal on that. No. I have a request for you. I need fresh cauliflower for a recipe. You got it, friend. Because I have everything you need. Ooh, we get wild plants out of this. Oops. Ooh, there must be a gold one. I don't know, did I just waste... Okay, none of that is needed, but this might be. No? Nothing is needed? Alright. Alright, I'm not seeing any problems with selling any of these. Okay, we are making bank this time. Really? Nothing for that? Huh. Oh, there's one of each, like, fall and... okay. So I really should be trying to make some more parsnips. Maybe I go parsnips and potatoes. To finish off spring. I'm assuming the season is a month, right? Because it says spring and then it says the days. I don't think it says a month. Well, it looks like there are strawberries there. Oops. Ooh, a hidden food. All right, that's watered. Now just double checking that coal situation. Yeah, it's 1 coal and 5, so you make about 20 gold every time you put something in there. All right, let's not eat a cauliflower. Give that to Jody, who lives in Willow Lane. Thing is though, is a cherry bomb worth more than a copper bar? Like, because the cherry bomb is cheaper and you don't need to wait for it to be made. So if it's like nice. 350G? You're insane. I'll definitely have a lot of money tomorrow. I need to buy those parsnips and potatoes though. I'm not a seaweed guy. Oh. Well then, Pierre, how can I help you? Uh-oh. The wizard? Or just the Jojamart guy? Ahem. Come and get it, folks. Coupons for 50% off your purchase at Jojamart. 50%? Well, any takers? Yikes. But I can't match those prices. They'd be selling at a loss. Must be so difficult for you to lose your loyal customers like that. But can you blame them? Jojo Corporation is clearly the superior choice. Soon the whole town will realize that. Huh. Just realized it's Friday. That's unimportant. Sometimes I totally lose track of time. Is that because you were sitting in your room all day? Isn't that what your mum said? Alright, let's get 10 parsnips. And 10 potatoes. Alright, we'll plant these, and if we have time left, we will fish. I can't get seaweed yet. Man, I probably could, I just don't know how. So hopefully we get 5-star parsnips. The potatoes are just because I think the potatoes are probably more expensive than the parsnips, so I want to sell the potatoes. Whoops. I will plant, I mean I can just do that, put the seed there. Should have some copper, copper going. I don't, but I should. Alright, let's put the watering can back. Let's grab the fishing rod. Let's grab that. Let's grab that. May as well grab that as well. I need to get rid of that sign. Now it says E, that's gonna be so annoying. I'm assuming I'm gonna catch a lot of fish that'll get my inventory, so I'll leave that. But I also am pretty sure fishing takes a fair bit of energy. Level up your guys' items, you expend less energy using the items as well as have a higher reach, right? So like you get more stuff done for less energy. Could be wrong. Do you like cave carrots? I'm guessing that's a no. Eh. Alright, fish time. Actually, let's go to that new island place to fish. Ooh. These are new. Huh. Ooh, I got a good coral too. Now, if you weren't watching last stream, I'm really bad at Flappy Bird, and so I'm really bad at the minigame here. No. Oh. Should I go and do that seaweed quest real quick to get some money? Okay, tapping definitely works. Oop. Don't want that. Okay, that's not a real fish. I thought like it'd be funny if there was like some small things in there that I could fish up. Alright, I don't know. The anchovy thing, and sorry, the sardine, no. The seaweed thing, there we go. What? Why did it disappear? The seaweed quest is pretty new, so I can probably accept it tomorrow and it'll be fine. Do these little bubbles appear randomly? And are they always alive? Like there's always bubbles somewhere? Maybe not. Another sardine. Ooh, a good sardine. And I've still got energy, I may as well keep going. A herring. How good's fishing? This is like the worst fishing minigame, I've got to say. Tapping it instead of like holding it or anything is definitely the way to go, though. Oh, I really thought I had it then, and I just let go. Ooh, another silver sardine. Alright, let's sell the fish. Oh, it's closed. I'm not selling the fish there. May as well pick that up. Maybe it's good. I think that you probably get fishing levels for selling clams too, even though you're not fishing, which is good. I haven't talked to you yet. Do you like fish? Do you want a cave? No, there's no way you want a cave carrot. She's talking about digging, and I was like, maybe. Okay, how do I look at the quests? There. You, like, really aren't paying me much for this seaweed. Does Pam live in here? Oh, Pam will be in the saloon, won't she? Everyone's in the saloon. Pam. Seaweed? Ooh. What's this sardine nonsense? Oh, ocean fish bundle? There we go. Oh, there's also night fishing fish. Interesting. Prize machine in Lewis's house for a special reward? Okay. I don't think the mayor should have a prize machine in their house that you should go to. Like, I just don't think that that's a thing you should do. I'm assuming it's like in his house, but not. I don't know. So I think I just need one fish. So I'll sell the big fish. I'll sell the clam, the urchin, the coral. Don't need the herring, apparently. I probably will eventually, but I don't at the moment. I'll sell one of the sardines. We can use the geodes tomorrow. I think we just go fishing tomorrow again, right? I wish I had a bigger coffee. Just looked in my coffee mug and realized it was empty and I'm wasting time. Okay, no more copper. We had like 60 of that and now it's all gone. Just wait for it to be done. Oh, you also 60G from that too. Forgot about that. actually reached level 40. I'm almost there, but I need to make torches, which are wooden sap. So let's just make like 50 torches or something. Ooh, I want another chest. No, there's no need. Oh, I can do both. Put the coal and the copper and stuff in here. Just so I don't have to go up and around every single time. And I'm gonna get rid of this sign. Thank you. Actually, I'm gonna sell this sign. I don't need a sign. I can't sell the sign. I'm just gonna throw it. All right. Sighting goes to community center. We'll use those. We won't go fishing tomorrow because I want to get to level 40 because I think I can get there if I have a torch. I don't think we need any of those to go anywhere. No. We can make a single field snack. Take that with us. Leave that. We'll try the prize ticket tomorrow as well. And I'll get my watering can out. So that I can water all the crops as soon as we get the stuff. And there's also, we need a... Chop down some trees. Butterflies. Wait, I've ruined their home, I'm sorry. I don't have enough stuff to pick that up. Interesting. I'm assuming it stays. Right? Oh, what? Watering can efficiency, home efficiency, a bee house, a speed grow, and a farmer's lunch. Got fishing rod proficiency. We almost made 2,000 just on farming. Okay, we need that backpack. That backpack is the highest priority we have. How are you doing, sweetie? I've missed you so much since you left. I hope the farming life is everything you hope for. Love, Mum. P.S. I sent your favorite cookies. Hell yeah. Schnit. Alright. I'll put the axe away. Oh, we got stuff to harvest too. Are there more parsnips? We'll just water everything and then we'll pick up the parsnips at the end. These cookies are going to help us win this last mining situation. We also need to figure out what that miner's lunch is, not my farmer's lunch is. Let's just put the geodes away. I don't need them right now. Oh no, this is a potato. Don't need it because I get more energy from the other carrots anyway. Why couldn't I pick that up? It's gonna give me more money. Not designed as a community center though. Alright. That's all watered. We need to water the cat. And then we'll put this guy back. We won't plant any more seeds. And then we'll take the sardine to the community center. The cave carrots are already at the community center. That's for food. Prize tickets. And we need that storage chest. We need it. Oh, you can't see my money. I could probably be in the top left actually, but I'll just wait here. I don't think there's anything else that pops up really. Okay. 3 times the market value? Oof. I don't want your seeds, I want your backpack. Large back. Your inventory space has increased 24. Oh, and I can... Oh, but do I keep the money? Like, do I buy more crops? You know what I mean? Or do I spend 2,000 on... Because I reckon that this means that there are 8 more days of spring left. Should we just go all out on potatoes then? Why is kale more expensive than potato? Should I buy a lot of kale? Let's just buy all the kale. We won't upgrade our pickaxe yet. Alright, let's plant 35 kale. This could be a very poor investment. I don't know, I think we can do it. Does the scythe ruin other crops? Maybe. But it's fine. Other crops don't matter at the moment. That's a scythe. That's why I need to harvest the kale when I have the time. What I want is a hoe. Alright, I need that watering can back. Hoe goes back. And speed grow, and I guess basic fertilizer as well. Oh no, I can do the speed, just the speed grow, can't I? Nice. Oh, how good is it having a second row? And I believe there is a button to like swap between rows, so you can like organize it to be one's for mining, one's for farming, that kind of thing, like have a sword in one slot. I believe. I don't know how, but I believe that's the thing. I watered the cat, didn't I? Yeah. Alright, that is all done. That should be our spring crops completed. I don't think I'll be planning anything else for the rest of spring. And then we can organize the farm and have it not just a jumbled mess of things. Hopefully we have enough money to like just be like, okay, this is what we're spending for the week situation, I guess, because it looks like it's like 6 days is a thing, like 6 to 10-ish, I guess 4 to 10-ish. There's no like next day crops we've got. That's Lewis's house. Oh, it's a cutscene for the ticket machine. Ah, hello there, Epic. I'm just loading some more prizes into this machine here that's sitting in the back of my house, which forces you to come into the mayor's house. It's a new program I've come up with to help promote a spirit of goodwill among the townfolk, you included. It's pretty simple. Sometimes when you help out others in town, you receive a prize ticket that implies Pam is helping people around town. You can turn them in for rewards. There's some special stuff in there. My only worry is that people will just go after the tickets rather than cultivating a true compassion for their fellow man. Yep, I'm in it for the prizes. I see. Well, it's not what I hope to hear, but I appreciate the honesty. At any rate, keep checking the help wanted board in town. That's a good way to get your hands on more tickets. Good luck out there. Why have you got a communal town? Oh, interesting. You just like ticket per thing. Okay, well, this turns out that's not the last thing I'll be planning. I'll be planning these carrots too. I'm gonna have to do another day to do the mine, aren't I? That's fine. That's fine. Put the cookies away for now. They'll be back though. And I have 12 carrots I need to do. 2, 3. Oh, we already have 12, okay. Why are you attacking my beans? Cat? Alright. Well, that's done. My carrot back. Did I just see... Oh, it was just the sardines, I think. Okay, so we'll take the sardine over to Old Mate. And I feel like I could probably do 5 more now that I have the torches. I reckon. Can I talk to Haley now? There's no mall. There's a Jojo Mart that's like a mall. Is that Maru there again? Does she sit there every time? It's an ocean fish. Nice. Don't like how creaky this place is, it scares me. I have wooden floorboards in my house. There's none above me, but I hear the wooden floorboards going and I'm like, someone's walking around above me, but that's not how that works. I also just... No, there's no second story. There's no floorboards above me. Okay. We should have everything we need to get to level 35 at least. How many Batwings? Did I need 10 Batwings? I feel like I needed 10. Ooh, that looks like an important crystal. I don't think there is. Punitive Liquor? Why do you have an Xbox 360 gamer tag? Bot? Alright, I'm just gonna get out of here because I feel like it's only gonna get harder. Oh, they're not all super dark. We just have been so far. Oh, there's always dark spots, I guess, because these guys seem to be dark guys. From a living in the darkness stance. I don't really see... No, that's it. Ah. That's it. Interesting. Hasn't told me I'm exhausted yet. Also interesting. There we go. Eat those cookies. Ooh, Omni-Geode. That bag got yeeted. Oh. I might just do that. I know. It's just an earth crystal, right? There's something... This one a different one? No. Thought that looked suspicious. It's a big stone. One of the amethyst, okay. Oh shit. Is that it already? Oh shit, yeah. Let's go. I found it. Alright, so we need to unlock this geode when we get back, if we get back. Thankfully I spent all of my money, so I think you said someone was stealing stuff out of your pockets, right? I'm assuming they steal money. He made it sound like it was just talking about money. So like if you pass out, you lose some money. I think so. I think that's what it was implying. I have a feeling I'm not going to make it. This is like a... I'm getting slightly better at the 2 p.m. situation. I mean, I only lost it once this stream. I didn't do it yesterday at all, but... Can I just sell that now? I feel like I can. I want the iron ore. I can sell the quartz. I need to do the Gunther thing. And I think that's all for that. Yeah. $900 from potatoes? Just from potato. You get 20 extra gold for a potato being a silver star. Interesting. Okay, we are saved, and I feel like it's about time to end the stream. Oh, it's raining. We love raining. I still don't know if I need any of that quartz. Oh, something I need to look into. Recipes? Is there a recipes there? Omelette and a parsnip, which means I need to make an omelette. Which means I have to have the omelette. Ooh, that's a huge energy and health. And mining for 5 minutes. That's even more energy and health. And increases your farming. 1 egg fry gives you 50 energy and 22 health. Which I believe is already more than a cave carrot, and I should probably start cooking things. Forgot about moss soup. I haven't seen moss, so I don't know where you get moss from to make moss soup. Oh, you can see the price of stuff in here. Interesting. So yeah, a parsnip takes 4 days and costs less. How much does a potato cost? It's like 50. I think do you make more? A cauliflower you definitely make more. You double with cauliflower. I feel like you don't double it with a potato. With the parsnip, I feel like you make 5 gold? Is it 30? Not sure. Green beans, I feel like you make a lot. Because isn't it like 60? It's like less than the cauliflower to make a green bean, but you get like 4 green beans out of it. At least. If you plant them right at the start, you get a lot, right? Not sure. Also we got strawberries as well. Well, I won't finish level 40 of the mining thing today. wanna... Ooh. I wanna do that, and then I wanna... that, and make some cherry bombs. Oh, it's like 3 and... okay. What is it? 4 and... 4 and 2? Is that what I saw? I don't know. We will keep the geodes on us, because we'll do the geodes next time. I'm not actually doing any of this anyway, because it won't save, will it? On the iron ore, I forgot that I still had that on me. But yeah. $602. Does that mean that it's... that must mean that it started, right? Like, it's just started. There's no way I was doing that for 2 minutes. It goes by 10-minute intervals anyway, doesn't it? What does that actually do? Because I've had that... why is that got an X through it? Does it do anything? Because there are music that sometimes plays. I don't know, like, I don't know if that's... I don't know, you know? Anyway, thanks for watching. Ignore the bot in the chat. Stardew Valley is pretty fun. I feel like I'm not playing it correctly because I just want to farm and I want to smack things in the mines. And that kind of means I'm just playing top-down Minecraft at the moment. Just because I'm not interested in a lot of the characters at the moment. Yeah, I think Linus is kind of interesting. But other than him, everyone's kind of just... I don't know. They're just NPCs. Like, I don't want to learn more about them because they're just people who give me items. Or they're people who give me flavor text. I'm sure I can get more attached as... I can turn on my BRB music again. I'm sure I will get more attached if I like talk to them and stuff, but because I want to do the farming, I don't have time to talk to anyone. So that's an issue. I haven't got a single achievement yet. You'd expect like your first day to be an achievement or something. Huh. I have 20 friends who've played this game previously. Insane. I wish Steam should tell you what game you have most in common with all of your friends. I think it's gotta be like Call of Duty or something. Like, generic. Yeah. Anyway, I will try and stream some more next Wednesday, because I think I want to play it to year 3. I think that's when Granddad said he'll be back. And I'm assuming it's kind of like an end game situation for the game. I'm assuming you can keep playing, but like it's like the end of your journey to like bring yourself inner peace or whatever the real plot of the game is. So I kind of want to stick it out till then. I don't know. Is there an achievement that... oh, I just opened it. I was trying to look at the library page. I'm gonna see if there was like an achievement that tells me like... yeah, this is the final achievement. There's a perfection, which is reach the summit. The music of Stardew Valley actually started. This craft every item, read every book, cook every recipe, ship 15 of each crop. Ship every item. Like, just complete all the goals. Do Pokemon stuff. Complete all goals. Catch all Pokemon. I'm not seeing anything about the 3rd year. So I don't know. I see people redoing Stardew Valley like each year, right? And I don't know why they're redoing Stardew Valley each year. Like, it's, you know, generic each year, not every year. And sometimes more than once a year, I've seen like people I watch start doing Stardew Valley things, and I've never really watched. I've watched while I was sleeping. Like I turned on while I was going to bed. Gab's playlist, so I know like vague things, but I don't think I've ever seen her finish one. But she's played multiple playthroughs. I know there was one where she was playing it normal, and I'm pretty sure there was one where she was doing a full playthrough, like min-maxing everything. I don't know why you would, like, if you're not speedrunning it and you're not just trying it for the first time, why would you keep coming back? You know? Like, there must be an ending, because otherwise you would just keep playing it and like finish the game and then be done with the game. And if you're just done with the game, then the only other option is speedrunning, because you're done with it. That's how I'm thinking about it anyway. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this, you probably not like much of my other content, although I do play some chill, relaxing games. If you like, there's like a cat finding game, like a tower full of cats, a hotel full of cats. There's a lot of full of cat games that I've played a lot of, where you just click on cats and you find them, and it's fun. I haven't been playing it a lot recently, so you'll have trouble finding them. You can find them on YouTube though. YouTube videos, they will be there. I'm just gonna quickly have a look at my videos to see what I've actually got. So last stream we had Stardew Valley. We had Alien Swarm, very different game. We had Building Something Barotrauma, very different situation. We had a horror game, Barotrauma again, Void Crew, Barotrauma, Void Crew, and the video stuff on Twitch. So yeah, if you want to look for games like this, I've definitely played them, and you can definitely find them if you search through my YouTube lives. And you could probably find them. I genuinely don't remember a lot of my YouTube videos. I feel like I've not played only horror, that's for sure. I've definitely played other games. I promise. But it's a lot of horror. So you'll have to wade through that. I'm looking through to see, like, I'm not seeing anything that fits the bill of Stardew Valley just yet. No, Eliza is not, it's not like a, I don't know. 7 Days to Die, that's kind of like the thing. I never finished playing it though. Maybe I should start a Minecraft series. Does anyone want to watch a Minecraft series? The issue is I feel like everyone... Nah. I want to say... I was going to say I feel like everyone wants to watch like modded Minecraft, but I feel like there's still people who want to watch vanilla Minecraft. I just don't like modding very much unless there's like a goal in mind for the mod. Like there's like a vision. Rather than just like, oh, I like this mod, I want to add it. Yeah, I'm not finding much. I think maybe think maybe I should play more Stardew Valley-like games. So you'll have something else to watch. Yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. I'm gonna try and stream on Monday. It's gonna be Ready or Not. It's gonna be very different again, which is a game about, I guess you're technically cops, and you need to arrest people trying to lower your casualties. I don't really know how else to explain that. You're cops, you try and lower casualties by arresting the criminals before they try and shoot you. That's pretty much it. There was a bit of a controversy not that long ago about people not liking that they were censoring some stuff, but personally I think decapitating dead bodies isn't a bad thing to censor, and you should probably not care that much about decapitating dead bodies in your video games. I feel like that's not something you should be like, oh, I really like that. I feel like maybe that's an extra reason to censor that. Maybe. But yeah, I got a lot of games kind of like sitting. I really want to play some more Void Crew. I really want to play some more Alien Swarm. I'm got Ready or Not to play. I've played single player just to like, test it out, and I really enjoy it. I'm bad at it. I really enjoy it. And then we got Stardew Valley, and of course, if you want to vote on our next stream through game, join my Discord, which will be in the link in the description in both YouTube and Twitch. Go to the game poll tab in the Discord, and you can vote on the next stream through. We chose the games to vote for via a spin wheel when we finished our last stream through, which was Cloudpunk. And so the choices for the games are Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Dream Daddy, Catherine, and Resident Evil 4. So you can vote for whichever game you want to see played on the streams, and eventually they'll be uploaded to YouTube. I say eventually because I've got about 10 stream throughs that are not uploaded to YouTube, so it'll take a while. Yeah, at the moment Spyro Reignited Trilogy is winning, but I'm gonna keep playing Stardew Valley and some more multiplayer games until hopefully I release Resident Evil 2's stream throughs, and then after that I will start trying to edit the old stream throughs while playing the new stream throughs is my goal. I don't think I'll upload Stardew edited to my YouTube channel because, again, there's not many Stardew-like games on my YouTube channel. It's a bit of a different situation that I just wanted to play. So this will be it. I might edit down the front, the cut the breaks and stuff like that, but yeah. Alright, cool. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bunny out.